Greetings and happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to one and to all. Perhaps it is Friday, depending upon where you are on the globe. And always, as I open, give yourselves a round of applause for making it to and through another day, because as we know, not everyone has been blessed to say this, and unfortunately, not everyone will be able to say this again another day. That being said, this video is in reference to a content creator that I just happened to stumble across. Syndicate Media Reacts. Now, I've been watching a content creator, Dodash, and this young lady took off, in my opinion, out the gates earlier, gained momentum, and we know, well, I believe many people know that once you garner a level of support and earnings, let's be real here, you're going to pick up some hate, if you will, along the way. I've seen many videos that I've spoken disparagingly, and I've made a couple of videos, but in my videos, I actually was excited, and I'm always excited with people's inspiration and their passion about what it is that they say they want to do, and how it motivates other people, because in the grand scheme of things, one never knows what someone else may be going through, and one word, one smile, one little scream, if you will, and if those of you who have followed Dodash, her excitement oftentimes would begin with her little scream or squeal. I'm not really sure which word to use, but that is enough to motivate and inspire many who may be in a particular situation. The problem is, as I've mentioned, there have been many videos that I'll just say have placed labels upon her. I cannot attest to whether these labels are true or false, but in listening to Syndicate Media Reacts, and shout out to him, that's my free shout out. Number one, I think he is extremely animated and funny, and something that I must say, and he may not be the only one, but he has at least put alleged in some of the things that he has said, because unless we know for sure, it is a dangerous thing to put a label on someone. Now, that being said, there are also things that will allow people to activate that gift. That gift, I know, at least for believers, that we have, and that's called discernment. One thing that I do, and it's part of what I do for my 9-to-5, but I don't have a 9-to-5. I have a 7-to-7. I have a 8-to-8. I have a 9-to-9. I put in at least 10-12 hours. And for those of you who have been following me, I have some serious challenges. I don't get disability, or any type of assistance, I work. I want to work. Number one, I have to pay my bills. Number two, even though it's not a lot, I like to give because I've learned and I was taught early on, sometimes when you're going through something extremely hard, when you give, because there's always someone, always, I promise you, there's always someone that is going through something far worse than you. If you bring a smile to someone's face, especially when they're not expecting it, even if it's brief, your sorrows and your worries and concerns go away. And to me, you cannot put a price tag on that feeling. Again, is Doe Dash. And again, her inspiration and, like I said, the energy is what drew me to that channel. Again, I don't know, and I can't speculate what may or may not be going on. Whatever it is, if it is anything, prayerfully. And I want to be clear with that because I am a believer. No, I am not a Bible thumper. Don't get me wrong, because people who listen to me, you've heard me release some bombs every now and again. Not all the time, but every now and again. I'm not perfect. But one thing I have always said, and it's been proven, again, this is just for the believers, you should never, ever play with God or the Most High or with whomever you pray to. If you pray or worship, it is just not, in my opinion, a very good thing to do. So, is Syndicate Media Reacts hating on Doe Dash, or is he giving his raw and uncut opinion based on, number one, history? I've spoken about that. Sometimes, unfortunately, we should look at the history and vet people, especially if we're investing. Number two, and this is, to me, the main thing, consistency. Consistency. Now, yes, in life, things change, but if you are sincere, again, this is just my opinion, you are consistent with that, whether you have a bad day or not. Now, in this economy, people do get behind on expenses. Trust me, I know. However, in this particular video that I'm speaking about, there have been a lot of people talking about Doe Dash's latest videos as it relates to, I'll just say, a couple of expenses, and there are a lot of people poo-pooing on that. And what I mean by that is trying to dissect whether or not it's genuine. Again, I cannot attest one way or the other, but what I will say is, if it is, and you are a believer, because it appeared that you were early on, then you must stand 10 toes down and have faith that a way will be made. In contrast, if you are not, I do not think it is wise to begin to quote scriptures to pull you out of the muck and mire. Because, see, this is how, in my opinion, things can get really bad or perhaps worse. You find yourself out of a situation and then you go right back into those same behaviors. And then you find yourself in yet another situation. In life, we have ups and downs. We have ups and downs. I'm not going to get into financial literacy because, as I said, I know all too well how it is to go through struggles and lack. Again, those of you that have followed me, you know exactly what I mean. If, and I want you to pay really close attention, you are able-bodied and you have all of your limbs, all of your organs, and this is what I want you to pay attention to, and they're working properly, and you're not facing certain things. The material should not be your priority. Material things come and go. Use of limbs, use of organs, unfortunately, for some people, once they begin to fade, you can't get them back. So to be able to wake in the morning, have a job to go to have a roof over your head, no matter where that roof may be. Because sometimes things are temporary. Sometimes we are sat down so we can understand what humility is truly, truly about. Being thankful, being grateful. The old adage is, you can't miss what you've never had. And then, unfortunately, there are people who may come into, I don't want to say blessings, because you have to be careful with that, but you may come into a lucrative base that you may not have experienced before. And it may change you. Another warning, never let that change you. Always, always, always have an ace in a hole. Syndicate media reacts, in my opinion, isn't hating. I believe it's just his raw, uncut opinion of some videos and observations he has made. Again, sometimes when you listen to people, just listen. People will talk and say enough for you to be able to put things together. And again, history also leaves footprints. Not all wind, not all rain will blow and make footprints disappear. Someone, somewhere, will find a footprint. A lot of us will be remembered not for what we say, but what we do. Everyone, enjoy the remainder of your Thursday. And as always, please be safe, be well, and You know the rest. Be healthier. Until next time, bye bye for now.